Hello and welcome. So in today's short video, I'm going to discuss with you some of the advantages of using the art of storytelling in teaching biochemistry. And I've taught biochemistry for a good number of years, and throughout that period of time, I've actually realized that the use of storytelling has been a key facilitator in making the students easily learn the new concepts which I impart to them during the lessons. So we have several advantages of using storytelling in teaching any concept, but then in this video particularly, I'm going to share the advantages of using that storytelling technique in teaching biochemistry. So the advantages I'm going to give you are adapted from a certain website which is called as educationsummary.com. So in that educationsummary.com, you'll be able to see some of the advantages listed there, but I've taken 4 of them and I'm going to use them in illustrating the advantages in this our discussion of today. So the first advantage is that storytelling actually provides a natural context whereby the learners are easily able to integrate the content when you relate it to the natural context of everyday happening in people's lives, or even in their personal lives, or even your own life as the facilitator or as the teacher. And I'm going to give you examples in a short while. Then another big advantage of storytelling in teaching biochemistry is that it actually gives a universal appeal, whereby the storytelling and generally stories possess a natural appeal which is generally universal, whereby it makes the learning highly engaging for the learners because of the fact that the learners become curious to know some of the things which are going to happen next within the context of the story that you're actually narrating to them. Then storytelling also facilitates the boosting of the interest of the learners during the lesson when you're teaching them biochemistry, whereby this storytelling technique, through the stories which you tell while teaching, actually it fascinates the learners to know more, right? To know more, and also motivates them to learn more and easily on the concepts which you are imparting onto them. Within a short time, I'll be giving you some typical examples which will help you to understand various ways which these advantages are integrated into the examples. Then this storytelling as a technique also facilitates positive learning attitude among the learners, whereby once the learners get a positive learning attitude, you know that their ability and their willingness to even learn more will be higher because of the fact that attitude has been shown to be a great determinant of the way in which we learn any concept. So in the context of biochemistry too, if you give or impart a positive learning attitude on the learners, then it's easier for them to actually integrate the content which you are imparting onto them. So I'll proceed ahead and give you examples from my experience of using storytelling in teaching biochemistry. I'll dwell on 3 major examples which I've seen to be working very well and which are so much relatable to the natural context that I gave you earlier on. So in teaching biochemistry, I'll use 3 topics as an illustration of how you can successfully use storytelling in the teaching process. And these topics are nucleotide metabolism, then carbohydrate metabolism, and also molecular biology. So in nucleotide metabolism, when I'm teaching the students about the catabolism of purine and pyrimidine nucleotides, I use a typical scenario whereby I ask the students if they actually consumed nucleic acid containing material within their diet for lunch, right? I actually literally asked them, did you eat some nucleic acids today? I asked them to raise their hand up if they ate some nucleic acids on that particular day. Majority of them, they start looking at each other, wondering if it's actually possible to eat nucleic acids. Then, after I've let them to enhance their curiosity about how it's possible to eat nucleic acids in their diet, then I explain to them, or I show them a picture of roasted meat. When I show them the picture of roasted meat, of course, majority of them end up in laughter because they wonder how I can bring that context of roasted meat into the teaching of nucleotide catabolism. And then I describe to them sequentially that meat contains cells, of which those cells are assembled to make up the tissue which makes the meat. Then those cells, each one of them contains the organelles, of which one of the biggest organelles is the nucleus. And within the nucleus, we have the nucleic acids. So when those nucleic acids are broken down upon you ingesting the meat, and maybe through the enzymes present within our digestive system, those nucleic acids will subsequently be either broken down completely or they can be recycled through the salvage pathway. So in that way, I help the students to understand from the simple concept that the food material which they took, whether it's meat or some plant product, does contain cells, and those cells contain the nucleus, which contains the nucleic acids. So they now understand that they actually do consume nucleic acids within their diet. Then, on the other hand, when I'm teaching about carbohydrate metabolism, I integrate the learning of carbohydrate metabolism, especially on medical students, with a quick outline of what they administer to a pregnant mother who has feelings of so much of weakness. And of course, majority of the time, they answer that they can administer some dextrose solution of various percentages. So I ask them then, when you've injected that dextrose solution onto the patient, what actually happens to that dextrose? Because basically the dextrose is glucose. What happens to the glucose? They say that that glucose then gives them energy. Then I proceed further to probe them. How does the glucose actually give them the energy? So at that point, they start to think around, they look at each other, trying to wonder how the glucose provides energy. Then I now take them through what happens to the glucose once it is internalized within the cells. And of course, that is through glycolysis. Then, on the other hand, I also use storytelling when I'm teaching the topic of molecular biology, especially when I'm teaching about the codons, especially the stop codons. Now, in the Ugandan context, the number plates, the vehicle number plates of Ugandan cars, they actually start with U, right? So the previous series of number plates were UA something. So you may find UAA, USC, UAZ like that. So I use three important number plates to illustrate the stop codons, namely the number plate UAA, then UAG, and then UGA. So how do I use this? Luckily enough, apart from ordinary vehicles having the old series of number plates which start with the UA, the Ugandan government vehicle number plates, they start with UG. So you might find that a Ugandan government car having a UG number plate, the last digits end with A. So I illustrate it by telling them that what if a Ugandan government vehicle with UG --A could be carrying or ferrying the traffic police officers to a particular police checkpoint. So in that case, the traffic police officers, of course, they will occasionally be stopping some vehicles and checking if everything is okay with those vehicles and even with the drivers. So I illustrate to them that this UGA Ugandan police number plate bearing vehicle is carrying the traffic police officers, Then when they see a vehicle with the number plate starting with UAA, they suspect that this UAA car, since it's the first UA series of number plates that was issued, it must be a very old vehicle. So as soon as they see it coming from a distance, then they stretch their hand to actually stop it in order to confirm that everything with that vehicle and even with the driver is actually okay. So I tell them that UAA is a stop cordon, and they usually laugh because they wonder, how come a Uganda number plate has now become a stop cordon? So it helps them to integrate the knowledge based on the natural context which I've provided for them. Then I proceed ahead to illustrate to them the UAG stop cordon. With the UAG stop cordon, remember the difference between the UAG and UGA is just an inversion in the position of the G, meaning that I illustrate to them that the policemen, the traffic policemen who came in the UGA number plate, they see a vehicle with a UGA number plate and suspect that this vehicle, the owner or the driver, was trying to copy their vehicle, in the sense was trying to copy the UGA vehicle, but then interchanged the position of the G, and therefore for that reason they end up stopping that vehicle also in order to check if everything is okay with the vehicle, and maybe the driver has not tampered with the number plate by trying to interchange the position of the G while trying to copy that UGA number plate that was on the vehicle that was brought, so that had actually brought the traffic police officers. So in that way, I help them to integrate the knowledge of the stop cordons in the natural settings or the natural context of the Ugandan vehicle number plates. And with time, I've observed that when I assess them on concepts concerning the number plates in molecular biology as a topic, the concepts concerning the stop cordons on the molecular biology topic, they have a tendency of actually mentioning the 3 stop cordons within their answers, and they mention them correctly. Never has it happened that they fail to mention the 3 stop cordons correctly when they want to mention them somewhere in their answer concerning the cordons in molecular biology. So that has helped me to realize that this use of the natural context of the number plates of the vehicles within Uganda is actually helping them to internalize the information, and also it motivates them to learn by developing a positive attitude towards the stop codons and how they stop the whole process of protein synthesis once they are encountered by the ribosomes during the translation process. So I hope this short video has been able to help you internalize the major benefits of using storytelling in teaching any concept, but especially with regard to the subject of biochemistry. So you can adopt the technique of storytelling to any topic as long as you ensure that you use suitable examples of stories, so that the story does not go out of context to what you're actually teaching. So that's how you can use this technique successfully to impart knowledge to your learners. I hope it has been useful for you. Thank you very much. We'll discuss more items in another video next time.